Anne Boleyn was Queen Consort of England from 1533 to 1536, and the second of Henry VIII's 6 wives. Her time in the king's court was tumultuous and, as most know, did not end well, unless you were King Henry, who probably thought the ending was just peachy. The events of her reign and demise are filled with swirling speculation, and likely no one will ever know the full story. But there is one thing about it that may be easier to conclude. She may have had a significant and lasting effect on our gentle craft. Anne was born in about 1504 to well-to-do parents in Kent, a seacoast county southeast of London. When she was about 18, she parlayed her family status into securing a position as a lady-in-waiting to Catherine of Aragon, Henry's first wife. King Henry, a man with a roving eye and a stable of mistresses to prove it, chased after her, but the crafty gal put a stop to his advances, telling him,
"I will be nothing less than queen."
This caused a problem for Henry because he already had a queen, and you're only allowed one, especially under the strict rules of the Catholic Church with its pesky rule against divorce. Henry became increasingly infatuated with the forbidden fruit that was young Anne, and was upset by the fact that in 24 years of marriage, Catherine had not given him a male heir. How to solve what many were calling the king's problem? Well, he decided his marriage to Catherine, who happened to be his brother's former wife, was blighted by God, and he petitioned Pope Clement for an annulment. Long story short, the Pope said no. So Henry formed the Church of England and, not surprisingly, appointed himself to be its supreme head. The Pope excommunicated Henry, but no problem, he had his own church. This paved the way for dumping Catherine, and in 1533, the 42-year-old king finally married Anne, who by now was in her mid to late 20s. Anne quickly had a child. Unfortunately for her, a girl, Elizabeth, who eventually became queen. Anne, like Catherine, was male child challenged, which dampened King Henry's infatuation with her. On top of that, a guy named Henry Norris became smitten with the queen, who was overheard telling him,
"Look to dead men's shoes, for if something bad should happen to the king, then you could have me."
Speaking of the king's death was considered treason. Henry accused Anne of being a traitor and used other innuendo and rumors to pile on charges of incest and adultery. After 3 years of marriage, he had Anne executed and moved on to Jane Seymour in his unsuccessful quest for a male heir. So what does all this have to do with the Freemasons? Well, when Henry formed the Church of England, the Catholic Church obviously stopped expanding there. Henry stopped building or expanding cathedrals, convents, and monasteries. The market for stonemasons dried up. Under those circumstances, what's a skilled stonemason to do? You're either out of work or you travel in foreign countries, receive master's wages, and be thereby the better enabled to support yourself and family and contribute to the relief of distressed, worthy brother master masons, their widows, and orphans. This put operative lodges in an uncomfortable position. Some think this situation may have contributed to the lodges, for survival, to begin opening their doors to speculative Freemasonry. It is possible then, had Anne Boleyn never come along, and the Reformation never happened, or been delayed, the movement to speculative Freemasonry would also have been delayed. Now, this is just food for thought. Don't overthink it. And for God's sake, don't lose your head over it, like Anne did.
Ouch!
For the Whence Came You podcast, this is Steve Harrison with the Masonic Minute.